The NL Sports Central, we go over a March Madness game preview and prediction on the Elite Eight matchup between the UConn Huskies and the Illinois Fighting Illini. Two of the strongest, most complete teams left in this tournament. You got UConn, the defending national champions. This team has stormed their way into the Elite Eight, having dominated their first three matchups. And they're taking on Illinois. And honestly, the Illini could be the last team in this tournament that could beat UConn. Illinois is a complete team with Terrence Shannon, who is red hot right now. No one's been able to stop him. And the Illini are a tough team, a well-balanced team that is especially good on offense. They're looking to take on UConn for a chance at the Final Four. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today. Let's get started with their team trends. UConn 34-3 this season. Once again, a dominant run once again for UConn. We saw this last year in the tournament. UConn was dominant the entire way through and eventually won a national championship. It honestly feels like we're on that same road this season as well, given the fact of how dominant the Huskies have been. Beat Stetson in the first round by 40, beat Northwestern 75-58. The score was closer than that game actually was. They were blowing out Northwestern in the first half and then pulled away against San Diego State. Aztecs kind of hung in there for a while, but in the second half, didn't stand a chance, ended up losing by 30. You look at Illinois, though, beat Morehead State 85-69. Really impressive run so far for the Illini. Beat a Duquesne team that was really impressive in the first round and beat Iowa State 72-69. A close game there in the end, but the Illini controlled it for the most part despite allowing the Cyclones to hang around. But Iowa State is a strong team, so for the Illini to even win there is really impressive, and that goes to show how well the Illini are playing as of now. Games be on Saturday the 30th in Boston. Tip is just after 6 p.m. Eastern. Spread's going UConn by 8.5 here. I mean, that spread alone, an 8.5-point spread towards UConn against an Illinois team that has been peaking in recent time and no one's been able to stop them. I mean, that really goes to show the Huskies and the level that they're playing at right now. Over under 154.5, BPI is going UConn as well, 76%. You look at the Final Four bracket on the other side, we got Alabama and Clemson. So, I mean, you look at this, I feel like UConn, Illinois, more than likely the winner of this game should be in the national championship. I mean, Alabama and Clemson are both playing really well right now as well, but it feels like UConn and Illinois as of right now are just on a different level in comparison to most of the teams remaining in this tournament. Your stat comparison, Huskies 82 points a game, 64 points allowed. I mean, once again, this is a complete team all around. They're brutal on defense, but they also are especially strong on offense. I mean, you look at Houston, for example. Houston's a team that really emphasizes defense. Their offense is efficient. They don't usually put up massive numbers on offense. It's the defense that's especially brutal. UConn's defense is brutal, but their offense also takes advantage of it, and that's why UConn is the best team in the country. You look at Illinois, 84 points a game this season, 74 points allowed. They've struggled against top 25 teams this season, but did just beat Iowa State, who's one of the best teams in the country. So, I mean, honestly, you could probably throw that out the window as we're in a much different situation here in the Elite Eight. But despite all that, Illinois is a team that maybe isn't quite as strong on defense as UConn is, but their offense with Terrence Shannon, who is averaged 23 points a game this season, nearly 24. I mean, this is a team that's, when they're firing on all cylinders, they're brutal to stop. Your key points, UConn 34-3 this season. They've been dominant in every game so far, and I mean, at this current point, it just feels like, I mean, UConn's obviously going to be the favorite in every game they play from this point forward. But, I mean, Illinois, the way they're playing right now, I almost feel like Illinois is the last team that could take down UConn. You look at the other side of the bracket, I mean, Houston's a really tough team that maybe could give UConn a run. But the Huskies are still the more complete team there. And you look at the Midwest region, Purdue, Creighton, Tennessee, Gonzaga. I just don't feel like any of those teams could compete against UConn. So, really, at this point, I feel like Illinois, UConn, I mean, if anyone's going to be UConn at this current point, it would be Illinois. And an insane stat to me as well. I mean, you look at the Huskies' defense. They've allowed more than 70 points in 7 of 37 games this season. This defense is brutal, and their offense takes advantage of it, and that's why this team is so tough to beat. If you look at the Illini, though, Terrence Shannon averaging 28 points a game in this tournament. He is a problem that the Huskies are going to have to contain because no team so far has been able to do it, and this team has just they've been dominant in every game to this current point. And they're red hot. They're peaking at the right time. There's a reason why the Illini are in the Elite Eight. But with that, let's get the prediction here for UConn and Illinois coming up here in the Elite Eight. Probably the best matchup of the Elite Eight. Who moves on to the Final Four? I just have to go with the Huskies here. 82-72. I am going Huskies by 10 here. I still feel like Illinois is, I mean, I've said it throughout this entire video. I feel like the Illini are a really strong team that could beat UConn. I just don't think that they will. I mean, UConn hasn't shown a single sign of slowing down at this current point, and based on the way they've been so dominant in the past couple of the tournaments, and that includes this one, I feel like UConn is bound to head back to the Final Four this season. But obviously, containing Terrence Shannon is the biggest thing for UConn. If they can do that, they should beat Illinois. I feel like pretty easily. I do think Terrence Shannon still has a pretty big game, but it's just not going to be enough for the Illini to take down a force that is UConn at this current point. So I'm going Huskies 60%. The spread's 8.5 towards UConn, taking UConn to cover the spread and the under as well. But with that, let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this matchup, who advances to the Final Four. And I appreciate you guys all watching as always. My name is Evan. This is All Sports Central. Stay tuned for more. We'll catch you on the next one.